Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a few reads for you today as well as oracle cards at the end, and I want to get right into it. It's been a little difficult and harsh energies these past few days. There's definitely been some dark interference trying to get in and trigger you, so hopefully you're aware. You've probably purged. I know that I did last night. I watched the movie 5 to 7 last night, which really brings up the Atlantean timelines of separation of the twins. So I definitely cried after that. And actually, I was talking to my friend who watched the movie, the new movie, The Star is Born last night, and she was upset too. So don't feel bad if you were purging last night or in the past couple days. The Atlantean timelines have definitely been coming up to be released. Okay, it's a good time to release now before the full moon, or before the new moon coming up. So I'm going to get right into it because there's a lot of information. Actually, if you guys can all take a deep breath first, if you'd like it, I'm going to do a really quick clearing. Okay, so if you don't want it, please, just turn off the volume or walk away for a moment, but it's just to clear the union. So, all right, take a deep breath, guys. I'd first like to invoke some beautiful golden sparkling light to fall upon everyone on this transmission. As love and protection, let's clear all obstacles to harmonious permanent physical union with all the organic true twins and their beloveds across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned. And so it is. Let's clear all obstacles. Let's clear all auric layers, all auric layers, all chakra layers, first layers and beyond, all multidimensional bodies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned. Transmute, transform, transcend, and clear, please. And so it is. Thank you. And namaste, everyone. I want to get right into my sand art, okay, from yesterday and today. Yesterday was all about Don Quixote. So I want to show you the sand art picture that came up. It was Don Quixote. Okay, so the whole picture, when you first see it, you're not going to see it right away. To the right it's a picture of Don Quixote's fall, and his horse is trying to pick him up, and the hand of his sidekick is on the horse. So you'll see the sidekick man with his hand on the horse in the middle, and then all the way to the left is Don Quixote falling, and the horse with his nose under him trying to pick him up. So you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So that was really beautiful. If you want me to send it to you, just drop me an email. Yeah. That was really beautiful. I mean, most of the sand art coming down the second half of it was all about Don Quixote. So that's all about not only Don Quixote's fall of being being the end of chivalry, but it's also the divine masculine regaining his wings. Okay, so and that'll come up in the other messages I have from the sand art. So the sand art messages are from yesterday and today. So yesterday on 10/4, we're mostly about Don Quixote there, but I was also getting the caterpillar with the larvae and the huge transformation. The Eye of Jesus comes up in this, as well as the divine masculine a huge transformation into the butterfly, and he recovers. The divine masculine recovers their wings. And I'm having a little trouble talking today, so bear with me. On the 5th, today, in the early morning hours, the messages I was getting were between a rock and a hard place, while controllers are hiding and watching. The divine masculine held by King Kong and pushed up against a wall. Chaos everywhere. Beating a dead horse and then I was getting Don Quixote's horse, while many, many angels are holding up the wall so that he won't be crushed. And then suddenly he is released. And the handler looks over like, what? Like, you know, he thought he had everything under control. As wedges are put into place and the hand of God takes out the handler. As fire is smothered out, emotions are calmed. The angels are struggling to stay afloat. But no fear, God is always here. Like Superman to the rescue. Releasing gases and pressure. As things calm, the angels start to come out again to make sure the coast is clear. The shark is dead with one left eye. The 4D muck is everywhere, washes to the shore as evidence of the destruction. Magic hands shower blessings on angels in need of a break to cleanse their negative emotions and thoughts as they walk away from turbulent emotions. The twins connect Atlantean timelines into the vortex to release a huge block, one at a time, helping each other. The shark's remaining eye goes blank. It was basically bright white. It was being shown dead with a bright white, only the left eye. And only on the very last image, it turns like a very muted red, like very dull, kind of dead, and goes blank, bleeding out the last of his own wounds, okay? So that was the message. It was very murky this morning, you know, all of the energy of the dark energies trying to attack and come in, but it's really just this cleansing and purge for the both the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. So Divine Feminines, you're purging your own Atlantean timelines, but you also may be feeling the Divine Masculine because he's closer to you in timing than you think. So these are some of the message I was getting, as well as I'm going to show you, this is the read for the Divine Masculine yesterday. Okay, and then I'll show you the Divine Feminine. This is from this morning. Okay. And then also I wanted to, after I watched that movie last night, it was just right at the end, it was really so much about a twin love, where the feminine decides to stay in her marriage at the end, even though they, to each other, you know, were open about how much they loved each other, and that, you know, that they would never have this kind of connection. She still chose to stay with the husband and her children. So anyway, this was right at the end of the movie, and then I was crying, and I was guided to write down this poem. So I wanted to read it to you. What does the heart say when there's nothing left to say? When the tears still come most days? When brokenness lives on with hope so muted and yet so strong that our paths will still cement in every way, one day. A change in dimension doth not alter divine love. Thy spark will long for yours eternally, that you did not love yourself enough. 12:37, the clock is swinging. I had not noticed before. Has your presence not breathed on time? Another metaphor? I cannot know another moment like this, so I redirect my thought to the present of it. Another few, and I just may again know another moment of bliss. And yet I've never even known your kiss. So I hope you like that. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get into the reads from October 4th, and then I'll get into the reading from this morning, the Divine Feminine read for this morning, and then the oracle cards. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Not only does it help bring some of my epiphanies more to fruition, but will help you with your own epiphanies to comment below and share with others, not just me, but the other commenters. And, you know, if you feel any dark energies coming up within the comments, please ignore them. Don't even feed into it, okay? Conserve your energy. It's very important that you protect and clear every day right now, okay? And stay in a positive vibration, okay? So yesterday on the 4th, 10-4, it was the Emperor and the Knight of Wands. The 4 is very much of the Emperor and stability, structure. And then the day added up to 27, or excuse me, 25-7, which is the Knight of Wands, okay, which is very passionate physical energy. So you may have been able to get some errands done yesterday, or some exercise, or something physical, but it was about the passion of movement and the Emperor, okay. So it was very masculine yesterday. I actually finally got my grocery shopping done, which I had been avoiding. So that was my physical movement for the day yesterday. The major arcana for the Divine Feminine yesterday were the Lovers and Alchemy. There were 2 Pentacles, 4 Swords. There's been a lot of swords coming up. 1 Cup, 2 Wands. The court cards were the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. And with the coding, the number 5 came up as big. That's that conflict or expansion energy which we've been feeling. So you, like I said, you probably have had tears within the past day or two. And it was all about compassion, having compassion for others, but also for yourself, to allow you, okay, to release these feelings. And also something I wrote down that might mean something to somebody. Lipstick is all over the place, so I don't know if somebody was caught cheating with someone else. The coding from yesterday, besides number 5, 24, 12 came up, which is 12 is half of 24. It's about wisdom and the Queen of Wands, okay? And lovers. So maybe there's something about the Lovers and the Queen of Wands, but also the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Swords came up here, which is so 2 feminine energies. Also the messages were all about compassion, but being good with your hour of emotions. I God, right? When conflict comes, to have compassion not only for others but for yourself as well. And also aiding others when difficulty with boredom, because the devil was coming up a lot with boredom yesterday and today. And boredom is often having to do with integration, when you have to stay still to integrate and you get bored. That's when the dark is allowed in, because your thoughts start creeping in. So it's really about helping each other with that, as well as yourself. And also, if you're a geek, to be okay with that as well, because that was coming up. I geek, I God, I geek. As far as conflict and expansion and compassion. Okay, so allow yourself. Also, when I looked up the full codes, some of the stuff that came up, one was from a site called Bolter and Chainsword.com. And what came up was Kiwi Ben revisits Adepta Sororitas, which is just the name. The Bolter and Chains word. Okay, anyway, the comment from that was inspired by the community to dust off my collection of nuns and guns and give them an overhaul for the 7th edition. Okay, and 7 was nowhere in the coding, so that just came up. Inspired by the community, and this is from this site, to dust off my collection of nuns and guns and give them an overhaul for the 7th edition. So let me know if anything comes up for that. Also, the download again, this is like at least the 4th or 5th time, and then Sunday when I was driving up to my mother's, or no, to a shower on Sunday, I actually heard the song for the first time on the radio, Maroon 5, Wake Up Call Now, right now. This is has come up like 5 times over this past week. Also, Lizzie came up, Lizzie Bear, which kind of cracked me up because of my friend, my daughter's old roommate, one of her best friends from school, that she's actually going to see today. So Lizzie Bear came up, and there's a Twitter comment that came under this. I want to surround myself with positive people. Okay? And then a comment came up from scribed.com. I can't read what I wrote down the name. It's scribd.com, scribed.com. I think there's another word in the beginning. Tree of Clipoth. Did I write QLIPHOTH dash scribed with no E in the scribed.com? So if anyone knows, if I'm not spelling it correct, if you know. Anyway, the comment was, fill chalice with red wine and add a few drops of blood. This, that we can control how the ascending flame rises in our soul. The next one came up was from ufdc.ufl.edu, so University of Florida, I guess. Against a foe, adept at using asymmetric strategies, can win $5. So saying if you're good at using asymmetric strategies, you can win $5, which who cares about $5? But 5 was coming up in the entry just before this that I told you. Ascending flame rises in our soul. It ended with 5. And I don't know what these codings are, with a backwards comma or an upside down comma, 5 to this comma mark, dot, 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 and then the sun came up as well, dot, 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 with like a teardrop and a comma next to it. So I'm not sure what they symbolize. But 5 and sun were coming up. And some other stuff that is related to this will come up in the reads as well. But having to win the $5, it said, bring proof of ID by our office before, and it was like dot, 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 week-long clay, C-L-A-I. So if that means anything to anyone, let me know. Another entry was the Syrian Starseed Tarot, which I use, regarding the 4 suits, the flames, the chalices, the crystals, and the orbs. And the court cards being the seekers, the adepts, the sages, and the masters. For the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings. Someone was just commenting that they like these titles. They like the titles for the courts. So that might come up as far as quartz crystals as well. Another entry that came up was someone talking about how their office manager was posting that chart of feelings so that people can ID their stress and anger and their happiness at work. So you know that, I guess it was the chart of happy faces, you know, happy to sad, to show where you are on that line. So if you're getting stressed out at work, how your manager is telling the co-workers, you can identify each other's status. So that was interesting. As well as another entry for Wood and Fire came up, a place in Pleasantville, New York, Wood and Fire. And also on Wiki, a talk came up. This was en.wiki, talk, and I'm going to spell it because I can't pronounce it. Probably can, but PADMASA MBHAVA, improvements to this article. in order to put new text and instructions to put new text under old text. So let me know if that brings up anything. They were kind of random entries, but again, this was going in with the darkness yesterday. There's a lot of blocking. So if you don't resonate with any of those comments from the internet, that's fine. No problem. If you don't resonate with, just let it go. So we're going to get into the read from the Divine Masculine yesterday. We'll also do the Divine Masculine yesterday and then the Divine Feminine from this morning. So the Queen of Pentacles from yesterday was coming up as gaining clarity on self-love by laying down swords or stopping herself from trying to take down others before they take down her, okay, being in her head too much, no longer needing to defend her truth, as the Knight of Wands comes up from behind quickly. And this was attached to the Lovers, okay? So I was also getting in the Star card, what was being illuminated was the left breast in the light, along with belly fat and honeybees. And I actually had seen a bumblebee when I was outside on the deck yesterday who came right up to me. He was kind of aggressive, actually. A little aggressive laying out yesterday. And also birds. I don't know, someone's been breaking some of the branches off of my jacaranda tree. That's a very small tree, but I don't know if it's just birds or something else. Maybe due to its sweetness and the water. So I was also getting, relating the body image thing, that your honeybee likes you juicy and sweet, okay? So not to worry about those things. I was also getting a whistleblower on top, giving a hand to those burdened needing support to make it to the finish line. And then I was getting Omega, and looking up the definitions for more codes. Again, number 24 comes up because it's the 24th letter and last letter of the Greek alphabet. All right, so 24, I told you, came up in the coding already. And this is the Queen of Wands. It comes up again here with Omega. The extreme or final part, the end. Okay, and remember, it's darkest before the dawn. So the closer you are to union, the more dark interference you're going to experience. Okay. It's also defined as a negatively charged elementary particle that has a mass 3270 or 3270 times the mass of an electron, and that's called Omega minus. Also, Omega Meson is a very short-lined, unstable meson with mass of 1532 times the mass of an electron. And also what brought up that omega-3 is good for, it's an anti-inflammatory. So some of you may need to take omega-3. And also its first use was coming up from the 15th century. Middle English, originally from the Greek O, mega, literally large O, and O is source, energy, okay? And also I was getting end-all, be-all, God, okay? But that you are that God, okay? And that you don't need to rely on terms of God, that you are God, okay? And that Omega is literally large God, the end-all, be-all, God, okay? So continuing with this, the Queen of Cups reversed, so this can be manipulative or just really over-emotional. The Queen of Cups reversed was coming up as out manipulating the facts, unable to focus on work, and then boxcar named, oh, that's interesting, I wrote boxcar. Instead of streetcar named Desire, I wrote boxcar named Desire. So that might mean something to someone. As the Empress rises to the top, as others are bored of grounding and integrating offer of love, refusing to drop their burden. So very much about the Divine Feminine energy, who are bored grounding an offer of love. but refusing to drop their burdens, which is what's hurting you, your disconnect from Source, your higher self. So it's always about going back to meditation and connecting with your higher self when you're in this space, because you only feel sad when you disconnect from yourself. The Queen of Pentacles is ignoring their burdens, only focusing on raising vibration. Okay, so there's two groups here. There may be, and I don't usually get this, but I'm getting two groups of twins. One that's not letting go of their burdens, and the other ones who have learned to ignore those burdens, only focusing on raising their vibration. No secrets, no wounds. Okay, this was also coming up big time yesterday. If you're holding secrets, this is fear, and that is a wound. Drawing out the poison. Calling in your soulmate. Okay, in order to call in your soulmate, you need to let go of the secrets. Okay, it's not like you have to tell the world everything about yourself, but anything that you're afraid of letting go, you need to release. So needing to express feelings about being a third party is being released at the full moon, which is coming up with these Atlantean timelines, just as we've been talking about, as the King of Wands gives affection to his feminine. So this can be any feminine, okay? The Empress controls Snake with a magenta tulip energy, roping in the white light upon the shoulders of Atlas, using fairies and pixies. So for me, Magenta Pixie was definitely coming up here. If you haven't watched her before, I would definitely advise watching her. For truth and balance, as their wings are like that of a petal, an etheric faded magenta flower petal, like butterfly wings, or two butterflies. Beauty rises in the spring to express in the summer and long for the fall, as the dead leaves slough off to make room for the new, as two doves meet face to face for sweets. And then patience comes up, sweet patience, and possibly sweet patience for those of you who have patience. The ripples now fall to water, and Spirit was connecting with me. The ripples now fall to water, the ungrounded, as the Divine Feminine make bold moves. The wheel slows to allow these new seeds to germinate, for the Divine Feminine to get out of her own way, to see the peacock that she is at the new moon. Don't deceive yourself. When you carry the burden of boredom, you deceive yourself. And right at that moment, I got a right wing, in my right wing pinch, and a left eyebrow pinch. Recently, after paying out for detox of a King of Swords negative thoughts, so Divine Masculine, air sign type person, very logical. So recently, after paying out for detox of these thoughts, the Divine Masculine may have visited you in a strong connection. There may be a little bit of sexual energy now coming up, but more about love and bonding. Be careful about allowing that sexual energy to dissipate your own energy, okay? And so it's okay to allow your Divine Masculine in for love and nurturing support. But if he's in another relationship, you shouldn't be allowing the sexual energy in, because it's going to drain you. The foundation has to do with the Emperor reversed, lies in not expressing their feelings of being in the dark and making their way to the light with their flame. The sun, even when you can't see it, is always there. Okay. Centrally, stuck in emotions of having no options and feeling like a failure in balancing work and women, in duality at the full moon. When others are distracted, the Divine Masculine has found his pearl, laying low at nighttime. The Divine Feminine is challenged by looking for messages when all that's required, and this was a direct message from Source. Stop looking for message when all that's required is your connection with God and the Sun. The challenge is holding on to incomplete world of depression and holding back energies, waiting for messages to be exposed by God. Now there may be a small message about a marriage gathering exposed. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a wedding, but it can be also somebody else's wedding. It can be an anniversary or just a gathering of family, something like that exposed. Deception as a sudden event of conflict in clinging to your insecurities and your sexual frustrations or creative frustrations, and ending pain cycles of insecurities and manipulation of justice. Okay, so these are much about the Atlantean timelines coming up to be purged. The harsh truth of marriage exposed by Dream Girl, a 5D fantasy where she holds the secret keys. And I'm also got a download that there's an upgrade to 12. And also the Divine Feminine is a little bit too much to the left and needs to come back to 0 point. So she needs to bring in more masculine right now. Soon the Knight of Cups offers love to the family and coming together at work to find patience and to alchemize. The Divine Feminine, her I am, after slowing the slow wheel with overindulgence of sorrow, she is in her knowing, balanced and offering love messages. Okay, so if you got knocked down yesterday, you were back and okay. And again, you might have gotten knocked down again last night because the energies have been very much about the dark coming in and trying to block you. Feeling separation, but then letting the hurt go. So if you're already practiced at this, it's okay to get knocked down and to purge as long as you get right back up. Okay, because you know it's just a release. The cards that came up as the underlying energy, or actually the cards that came up for the Divine Feminine were codependency, soulmate, and playfulness. All right, so the codependency is what you're purging from your soulmate, and to be playful. All right, to make light of the situation when you purge. Okay, around the Divine Feminine is the truth after having been captured. The Queen of Pentacles gets busy coming out of isolation or triumph, or a hermit, or possibly a Virgo, comes out of isolation, rushing in passionately to rescue the Queen of Pentacles, prisoner of truth. Okay, so it's like the Queen of Pentacles or the Divine Feminine coming in to rescue herself. Clear blocks of anxiety and separation from God and inspiration. Okay, so the anxiety leads you to your thoughts, which blocks you from your connection to your higher self. And then you're not inspired anymore. And not seeing your own creativity. Let go of worrying about the karmic negative energy and not seeing her not seeing eye to eye with you, or possibly being an interference in your connection. Love comes up very strongly here in compassion. So it's about having love and compassion for everyone. Not just your Divine Masculine and not just the karmics you know, but also your Divine Masculine's karmics. After all, your Divine Masculine's been with this person for, you know, most of them probably are with them for quite a long, especially if they've been married. Obviously, there was something about them they love, so it's not like they're necessarily bad people. Some of them are, but they could just have been in relationships that are no longer for their highest good. Okay, so not to have fear about other karmics. In passion, avoid burning the candle at both ends and meet somewhere in the middle. Or also overworking the right arm, shoulder, and muscles and giving to others, so it's going to affect your right arm and shoulder, giving too much to others and trying to get their attention. After an offer of an opportunity to end the pain and burdens by using a new perspective, as conflict arises with news, message, or small conversation with a child, walking past the need to defend yourself, as you search for the crowning cup to top off the pyramid, which also brings up the Egypt Atlantean timelines again. The Magician embodiment. Sorry, I can't read my writing. So walking past defending yourself as you search for the crowning cup to the top of the pyramid, like to top off your pyramid to complete you. The magician embodiment is in the eyes. At night, independence can become heavy, recovering from messages of truth, coming in quickly, possibly a small message or immature words of happiness, satisfaction, and getting your wish. The Queen of Pentacles' pride is a burden, knowing the truth of the lover's need in order to balance and receive 5D messages, to alchemize anxiety of conflicting news, and to rise into his magician. So again, he needs your support in the 5D to feel better, okay, to do the work that he needs to do in the 3D or 4D, okay, to calm his anxieties, to come to you. Okay, so the queen, it's saying that the divine feminine's pride gets in her way, because then when she doesn't want to connect with her divine masculine, she's basically throwing them both under the bus, knowing the truth of his need for balance and to receive messages from her to stay calm, okay, to believe, to continue to believe, you know, because as soon as they stop the messages, they go back into that 3D mentality of the 3D world and not believing in the 5D anymore. So this is all about the feminine. For the divine masculine yesterday, which was at 1:48 to 9, divine feminine yesterday was at 11:18 to 19. This was 1:48 to 49 yesterday afternoon. The major arcana for the divine masculine were the wheel and guidance. The guidance is the Hierophant in this deck, the Syrian starseed. There were 3 swords, so again a lot of swords for both the divine feminine and masculine. 3 wands, 2 pentacles, 1 cup, and the only court card was the Queen of Wands. So here it comes up again yesterday. The divine masculine numbers that came up yet were 10, 5, 3, 53, 63, 9, and then 88 as well as 33, 21. The coding had to do with a catapult of energy, a catapult of the wheel. I was getting like it was propelled by Jesus on purpose, but it had to do with the Queen of Wands and stalling and crying. It's that manipulative tactic that she would use of draining the divine masculine's energy. For the divine masculine to be reminded of the crystalline grid and his powers of transmutation. That this catapult is to clear the fires of the energy, whatever, you know, because anything that happens is divinely guided, whether it's for the good or for the negative energy. It's all divinely guided, okay? Because we're here to love, but also to expand, and we can't expand without this change energy, which is the dark, the contrast, okay? You can't see the light without the dark, okay? So it's saying you that, you know, that even Jesus may bring in these negative energies to get you to use your abilities, or to get the divine masculine to use his abilities and not allowing others to manipulate him, to transmute those energies, to not feed into them and be observer and not be reactive. It's like it's bringing up the wheel in reference to IV fire, so this constant slow infusion of fiery moments from the, and then I was getting 3 Queen of Wands together, okay, who think they're all that. Basically I was getting the end all be all here too. The 3 Queen of Wands is like constant IV fire. It's saying that the divine masculine has not only 1 Queen of Wands, but 3 Queen of Wands he's dealing with constantly. Constant transmutation, which is why he so much needs the constant 5D connection to help him with these energies. The wheel propels IV fire, and the 3 Queen of Wands who think they're, you know, who think they're the, you know, the shit, basically. And also red tulips were coming up again yesterday. It was kind of like red tulips as a sign to your divine masculine, that you're ready for a union. That was interesting. Or maybe just magenta flowers, okay? looking back and getting sucked into family dynamic, the pain and betrayal that the hermit sheds light on, or that could be Virgo energy as well, the anxiety of it. There's a judgment call to happiness as the divine feminine is mesmerized by Spirit and Archangel Michael. So this may be the perspective of the divine masculine that he thinks you're obsessed with this spiritual practice. The Queen of Pentacles sits on her throne humbly, taking one step at a time, dipping her feet in the water, but not getting wet. Patient and then inspired. The worst is over on the outside, but inside there are still wounds to clear and emotions to feel, without option, to inspire the divine masculine's inner child. So he can't avoid going through the feelings, where they've avoided their feelings all their life. Now he's realizing there's no way around this. He has to go through his own emotions. He is afraid to ask the divine feminine out, or even just to get together for a drink or something, or for coffee. There are romantic feelings coming up for the divine masculine as the underlying energy, sweetly judged by his divine feminine, who is a strong warrior. He avoids protecting himself. And here is what the red tulips coming up. He's protecting himself in separation, where now there is a window for a reunion. Perseverance also comes up as an underlying energy for the divine masculine, to not give up after leaving any connection he's had with God or not. So there's going to be divine masculines who've been very conservatively connected to God, as well as very detached from God. But after leaving God, an unhappy marriage behind, so it could be a marriage or a contract, relationship, at business, whatever it is, after leaving God in this marriage behind to find peace, he loses family money or just loses everyone and everything. No option but to become inspired again. Recently, the past returns with insecurities and truth of feelings about the truth of anxieties, about losing money. So this is all about stability and root issues, safety and security. It's never about love because they're so obsessed with safety and security. Okay. Exposure to injustice and freeing himself to be dumped. So he's worried that if he goes through all of this to free himself, is it going to happen in vain just to be dumped? Or he could have just been dumped by his karmic as well. After fighting for her and that relationship, she may have dumped him. Okay, so exposure to this injustice, either way, of freeing himself to be dumped, and which is giving him anxiety. Centrally, he's present to the world and his overindulgences, and to the third party, and to any marriage or commitments, and his own lack of inspiration, that it's now over, as the Knight of Cups offers love to the divine feminine's heart, and stressing about coming into the physical. The challenge for the divine masculine is the Queen of Wands, holding energy and coins, defensive to the Emperor at home, giving to others but not to him, moving from home with the divine feminine, or the High Priestess with the keys, or a secret, the secret key. Now in the divine feminine's heart, it's showing the divine masculine actually in the divine feminine's heart, talking about tossing. So it could be you actually having telepathic communication or 5D communication, where you're actually talking about the fact that he had tossed you away, or that you had tossed him away. Resting in meditation with your big love, new big love, after he feels like he's lost success in a bold move and got taken. All his family money. It could just be about losing dysfunctional family members, but also the energy that goes into that, and also finances are involved here as well. So he might have gotten sucked into a deal that he thought was a big opportunity and got screwed. That as the divine feminine tugs on his heartstrings, still in prison, soon the messenger of truth spreads news or word of destiny, love and family, and legacy of the King of Wands. he feels blessed by a connection. In a marriage where either there's a jealous Queen of Wands or he's jealous around her because she's always flirting with other people, that kind of thing. So you can feel blessed by the actual connection he's in, or could be feel blessed by this connection he has apart from them, even though he's still in a marriage. Okay. The cards that he got is it is safe to love, forgiving and learning, and attraction. Around him, in the aftermath of conflict, of lover, of King of Wands, very sad that he avoids her, protecting himself in separation for reunion. So this was showing around him in the environment. So the around position can be what's in the Divine Masculine's environment, or it can be how others see him. So in this aftermath of conflict, of lover, the lover of the King of Wands, whoever that may be, it could be a Divine Feminine or it could be a karmic, who's very sad that he avoids her, protecting himself in separation in order to come into reunion. The Divine Masculine needs to clear blocks about passion, healing, forgiving, and being the victim, and about deception. Okay? So the injustices he feels, he needs to let go of all this stuff. Clearing the blocks of passion, okay? Maybe avoiding passion from abuse or trauma wounds that he has, or being overly passionate, which has always gotten him into trouble. And allowing healing. He's got a block about allowing healing, you know, because that's about pride, right? And being the masculine. Forgiving, being the victim, and deception. The big ones for the Divine Masculine are all about his health and abundance. All right? If you don't take care of your health, if people are working you too hard and you're doing this, or you're doing this to yourself to prove something to everyone that you're Superman, and it takes down your health, then you're obviously not loving yourself. All right? If you're going to become sick, or you could kill yourself by doing these things, this needs to be the focus for you. Your health and your abundance, because your health is your abundance. So stop avoiding loving yourself first, okay? If you die, you're not going to be help to anyone. So I was also getting around him that the Divine Masculine has definitely been visiting his connection with his true love. Romance fantasy of a love, family, and legacy. Of the Magician, King of Wands, when he's in his man of passion. Blind to rejection. Learns to balance love and work. Moving forward to an angel with patience, or learning his own angelic patience, one step at a time, or maybe 2 or 3 at a time. Also, arrogance was coming up. Very important for the masculine to understand. Arrogance, hard work, and greed will cause death. Okay? This was the message. Anxiety and suffering in marriage, and sadness due to not seeing the truth of waiting for more conflict with the Queen of Wands, when destiny of passion and expressing feelings with the Divine Feminine's heart is what gives him balance and dreams. So the Divine Masculine recognizing this, finally, that he's going to die if he keeps up the way he is, when he knows what really brings him peace, that he has to do something to change his life. Okay? So very strong messages here, okay? And this is the energy that you're feeling from not only your own purging, but Divine Masculines also going through some very difficult energy. Okay? And make sure for the Divine Feminine you do something positive for yourself that's uplifting. And the movies that came up that night were Heartthrob and First Date. Okay? So that's very telling. as well as the numbers 22 and 88 came up. And I'm wearing 22 again today. Chocolate stains and all. Let's see. So then last night, the movie that really got me going, I told you, was 5 to 7. It was a beautiful movie, so I wouldn't, if you want to watch it, but you're going to cry at the end, just guaranteed. But it's really a beautiful movie. I liked, in the movie, the addresses that came up in the beginning of the movie. He's talking about, he's a writer, and he talks about his address being 222 East 30th Street, apartment 3C. And then he talks about her address being 55th Street. The 222 East 30th Street, apartment 3C was some of the worst writing. Lots of rejection on the wall. Okay? So that's the masculine. He's used to rejection. That doesn't affect him. 55th Street is the feminine street. Cross the street to meet the smoker. Okay? So it was the first, this is the first time he crossed the street to meet the smoker. So even though it was someone or something he wouldn't normally do, he saw her and he just had to cross the street to get to the other side. Even though she was a smoker. He was a smoker too. Okay? But that's what he first noticed about her. There's something about her that he was the same as him. And then the address later, that was 55th Street, and then also her address came up as 133 East 77th Street. Okay. Okay, and then for today, we come into October 5th. October 5th. What's today? Is today Venus retrograde? I think so. I feel like there's an opening in Venus retrograde. And remember that some of you may actually first met your twins or first been activated by your twin in a retrograde. So it may be coming back to that same place. The 5 is the Hierophant. All right, that's all about marriage, commitment, the establishment. Okay, the old templates. So remember that. Because 5 is actually change and expansion. It's not about sticking with the old. It's about constant co-creation. And then the day adds up to 26-8, which is the Page of Wands. It's that 8 of strength. Inner and outer strength. But also the 6 of the motherly energy on the inside. How strong that is with the 2 of the feminine energy on the outside, and that becomes an 8. How strong that really is. Someone who you might see as weak, but is actually the one who's strong. Okay, that's actually the meek. I'm just getting this now, as that's very representative of the meek inheriting the earth. But that's the Page of Wands. Page of Wands may be young, but he's inspired. That's where your true power comes from, your inspiration, Spirit's connecting with you. I woke up at 8:08 this morning, and I started writing my notes at 10:10. In the read for this morning, which was done at 10:42 to 44, the only major arcana that came up for the Divine Feminine today is the High Priestess. So it's all about staying connected to your higher self. Okay? When you're upset and you're crying and you can't snap out of it, you need to meditate or go out in the woods, or just go back to sleep. You need to reconnect with Source, okay? You need to ground yourself. There were 5 swords today, so it's all about being in the head for the Divine Feminine. 1 wand, 2 pentacles, 2 cups. So again, everything's somewhat balanced except for the swords are out of whack. So it might not only be your issues, but your Divine Masculine you're feeling as well, putting you in your headspace. So it's saying, High Priestess, stay connected, meditate. Okay, the numbers that came up in the coding and the read were 1. The coding just had to do with number 1, the ace. But also 55, 66, 56, and 5122 came up. It was all about your environment, to clear your environment and keep it green. Okay? So it was not only about the environment and being out in the woods and everything, but your own environment, that there's dark influences there, because the closer you come to reunion or union, the more dark energies are going to try to interfere with that. So you need to keep your environment clean, sage, clear, but you need to clear and protect yourself every day, if not twice a day or more, especially if you go out into a lot of people, if you're going out into the world, if you're going to work. It's so important that you need to clear yourself, or in between people that you're seeing if you're working with other twins, or just other people in general. Okay. The coding had to do with this environment. I was getting, one of the messages was about a CEO suite, having to do with the Queen of Thoughts. So this is the Queen of Orbs, or the Queen of Swords, okay? Because we're very much in 5 swords today. Be the CEO, the sweet Queen of Swords with God. God telling you that you're to the left. When you get depressed or you get into your sadness, you're too much to the left. You have to come more into your masculine. Due to the environment, the dark around you, trying to kick your legs out from under you. Be the CEO of the sweet thoughts, okay, to yourself. You need to reconnect with your higher self. It was very much about that. In order to deal with your environment, you must always stay connected to yourself. If you're crying, it's because you're not connected to yourself. It has nothing to do with connecting to your twin. Your twin is your higher self. So if you connect to your higher self, then you reconnect to your twin. Okay, so the other codes that came up when I put it in to the system, the first one was from goodrx.com, that high blood pressure meds. It came up with ACE inhibitors versus ARBs, and that stage 2 hypertension is equal or over 140/90. So for some of those of you who are having high blood pressure, that normal is 120/80. So if you're consistently having higher blood pressure than that, maybe you need to go in and get seen by someone. So it may be a specific message for someone. Also, fan fiction website came up, and the line that popped was "because you deserve to live." Okay, and that comes right after the hypertension and also the divine masculine working himself to death. Because you deserve to live. The other code that came up was from worldpsychic.org, the proper use of smudging for purification and healing. So for those of you who have never used sage, you may need it. And also the last one was from Sacramento's Ace of Spades, which is a live music and world-class entertainment venue. Sacramento's Ace of Spades. All right, that's the Ace of Swords. It's all about the truth, nothing but the truth. Okay, and also reminding with Ace of Spades, there may be dark energy coming in, okay, to try to taint the truth. All right, and I was just getting shade as well, coming from spades. So don't be blinded by the shade. All right, so for the Divine Feminine today, it was all about the underlying energy of brain wars, which is that five of Swords. It's the war within your own brain. 5 of Swords is a jerk because he's at war with himself, nobody else. He's trying to take down others before they can get him, because he's in his head. He's feeding into fear. And then I asked for a message, and Jesus gave me a message. He was showing me that the card of the 5 of Pentacles, where the guy is wounded, he's on crutches behind the woman. They've been left out in the cold, and she's a little bit ahead of him because he's wounded. He's trying to catch up with her. But they're out in the cold, but there's a church right next to them. I mean, if they need warmth, they could actually walk into a church. So the help is all right there. But he's showing me in this picture, he shows me the card, and then he shows the wounded guy on crutches, throwing the crutches because he's healing, and catching up with the Divine Feminine in front of him. Okay, so I see him limping and injured, Divine Masculine. He heals, and he grows into that strong hope that I told you. The back and shoulders grew big, and he starts running as he just sweeps her off of her feet and just keeps running with her. Okay, So that was a really nice message. But you have to help him heal and become strong in the 5D. That's why you're in your 5D connection. That's where you connect with him, to help him heal and stay in his belief that this is real. Okay? So clinging to no certain path and holding back passions, only allowing a little bit of self-love to come out to others. The King of Swords has a huge block in order to align with boredom issues at work, needing nature and stillness to counteract the dark hovering over the twins on the World Wide Web. Or this just could be the worldwide scale. Okay, so worldwide, the dark is hovering over the twins, especially on the web, to be careful. Brain wars. The Empress reversed is coming up as arrogant and uninspired and blocked from the 5D world. The dark is the block to completing the cycle, causing brain wars in connection with higher self. For the underlying energy, the Divine Masculine has attraction. The arrogant Empress is watching the twins be sad, coming together. So some twins are coming together, and the karmics are watching this. And this could be a mother as well, this Empress. And then it's like this arrogant person, either the mother who maybe is the Divine Masculine is tied to because she supports him financially, or it could be the karmic who thinks she controls him, right? This arrogance is coming out. She's watching the twin be sad, and she's getting pleasure from that. But even if she sees them come together, she's thinking that he's going to come right back and beg her to come back to her because she's so arrogant. Or that the Divine Feminine will reject him when he begs for her forgiveness because of what he's done. Like, why would any woman in her right mind accept him back, right? This is the energy coming from this Empress, from the karmic side. But the Divine Masculine also has new beginnings as the underlying energy. Present and aware of manipulators in their environment and letting go of their negative thoughts in order to conserve energy and protect it from those manipulators. So the Divine Masculine is waking up to the manipulation around him, finally. Floating in another world in duality causes brain wars. This is coming to light, okay? If you're just floating in your 5D, to run away from the world, you're still in duality. This is going to cause more brain wars. This is why you need to specifically use your intent and meditate. So all of the brain wars, which block self-love and your connection to source. So it's a catch-22 if you don't meditate and ground yourself every day. Recently, the Emperor is reversed, okay? So either out of control or letting go of their ego. Because what is out of control? Not using your ego. So that may be a good thing. So there's Empress coming up reversed as in a partnership with the Queen of Wands energy, who is uncommitted or divorcing or using manipulation and or magic and or possibly dark magic or alternative spirituality like Wiccan, which came up specifically, etc., to connect dark to higher self of the Divine Masculine in order to block the Divine Feminine. And obviously that's not going to apply to everyone, but it's definitely coming up as the dark energy around the Divine Masculine. There is always dark energy around the Divine Masculine, which is why they don't, come right into union, because there's dark energies blocking them. Okay, so also you might want to, when you clear yourself, you might want to send light through your cord to your Divine Masculine to blow out his crown and anything that's obstructing around him. Send some gold light and white light and healing light as well, green light. So green, white, and gold, okay? Also the pink light of the soft rose pink of compassion. But don't kid yourself, because they have a lot of that. Okay? I usually focus more on the white and the gold and the green, and the purples just, and don't be fooled about their psychic abilities too. They may be very aware of their psychic abilities. But anyway, whatever you feel guided, send them that light. And try to, clear out their space around them too. Any blocks that may be around their crown and around in their auric field. The Divine Feminine, keep energy clear, protected, and to yourself. Be careful of air signs, and Aries were coming up. Those air signs and Aries who tend to be thought manipulators. and they will be obvious to you. The foundation has to do with passing on messages, and don't be in fear about that stuff, just be in your knowing about this stuff. The foundation has to do with passing on messages. It's good positive energies for the Queen of Pentacles, the twins, and the children by enjoying these moments fully with the world. Centrally, Divine Feminine is being pushed down, emotionally overwhelmed, yet strong ending of pain, of betrayal and lies. And fantasy family and fairy justice and truth and balance of the 5D world. All right, so there's dark energies coming in, pushing you down with doubt. The challenge for the Queen of Swords, or the challenge for the Divine Masculine, is the Queen of Swords, who masters her thoughts to shine her light. Okay, so the Queen of Swords is in mourning because she's been through so much, but she's the Queen of Swords. She's just shy of the King, so she's just about mastered controlling her thoughts in order to spread her light. So she might not have a lot of emotions showing anymore, but that's because she's of the truth and light. And Spirit's connecting with me. So the Queen of Swords, who masters her thoughts to shine her light, coming out of isolation and depression at the new moon with strong longing for her twin angel, deceptively patient. Now in the head and heart, the battle is over for the Divine Masculine. He is free to leap to happiness after the conflict of patience and moderation, and making a bold move to hold on to his energy when the harsh truth is seen by justice or possible Libra energy, desperate to express to his twin, but also still being strong-armed by a possible Leo energy. The Divine Masculine is avoiding angel new love, while possibly in a divorce situation, or just breaking some kind of contract situation, or getting out of some kind of established situation where the Queen of Wands energy is refusing his offers. So if someone's offering a payoff at work, or even a payoff for a divorce, the Queen of Wands is still giving him issues with that. Soon the truth of the manipulator for money, as opposed to offer of work and new life, becomes clear to the Divine Masculine, and he becomes balanced again, sad that he waited all this time for her. Now, the Divine Feminine finds her peace again. She says, I am peace. After maybe dealing with friends around her who are also struggling and not in their power, very depressed, you learn to come back to peace. And also, A Star is Born just came out too, which is going to be a big tearjerker for you guys too. The cards that the Divine Feminine got for this read have to do with paying attention to your signs and synchronicities, the red flags, okay? Not to go into fear, but to just recognize things for what they are. And also continue to express your love to everyone. Finding peace and balance and connection to everyone. Around the Divine Feminine, the King of Cups I'm saying, find peace with connection. I'm saying everyone. Of course, you should always be expressing love to everyone. But when you feel those times of darkness coming in, you might want to avoid being around a lot of big groups of people, or people that you know may trigger you. Just, keep it to the people that you have really good feelings with right now. Around the Divine Feminine, the King of Cups, with opportunity to stay present and go within, or may perhaps take a walk in the woods, is learning to stay positive despite a block that's still up to the Queen of Pentacles, the karmic, which could be the karmic and or the Divine Feminine. But this is either a karmic who's just arrogant with the Divine Masculine, or the Divine Feminine who's just hurt by him and not accepting his apologies. The Divine Feminine needs to clear her blocks of being the King and Queen of Pentacles, or perhaps dealing with a King and Queen of Pentacles, rising above. These are the people who are they're in their power. They're master manifestors. They've gone through all the suits. They've gone through the wands and the cups and the swords, and now they're both in the pentacles manifesting. They've already learned all that stuff and detached to an extent, but they're very loving people, and they also are master manifestors. So it's a block about whether or not you deserve to be the king and queen of pentacles. Okay? Any blocks you have about having a comfortable, abundant life, the Divine Feminine needs to clear this. Also, the blocks about other couples who are wealthy. Do you have blocks about wealthy people and wealthy families? Rising above any, so you need to clear the blocks of being the king and queen of pentacles, whether that's you or someone else, and rising above the king of wands, or the man of passions, negativity. So when the king of wands can be very negative, he can be great when he's not, but when he's negative, you know, it can be tough to be around. Also, blocks of allowing the Divine Masculine to control your finances or your energy. You know, have you been thinking about coming into union and what that might mean for what you love to do? Are you going into that that fear projection of them wanting to control what you're doing, or taking over your finances? The environment comes up for the Divine Feminine, as well as creativity. I'm sorry if I said Divine Masculine. All of this is having to do with the Divine Feminine today. The underlying new beginnings, the underlying attraction, the needing to pay attention to red flags. The environment and creativity is most important, because when you go into your negativity, reconnecting to yourself is all about creativity. So not only meditation and grounding, but doing your creativity, whatever you love to do that's creative, is also grounding and helps you reconnect to source. Okay, because that's really, you know, I know that I channel when I write music. It's channeling for me. It's very connecting. So rebalance by letting go of trying to get attention from your twin or others. Just be in your own divine connection, manifesting your own dreams, drawing in peace from your own epiphanies, standing up to others in your truth and balance, and possibly Libra energy is coming up because the Justice card is there. Impatient to be the King of Pentacles or Magician. So the Divine Masculine may be impatient right now, wanting to get to what he knows he should be, the Magician embodiment as the King of Pentacles. Also may need to stand ground to 3 men. So I was getting 3 cards in a row. The Justice card, the Temperance card reversed, which is Libra and Sagittarius reversed, and then the King of Pentacles. Or it could just all be the King of Pentacles who has this impatient Libra and Libra or Sag energy in him. Or it could be 3 separate people. It could be a Libra, Sagittarius, and an Earth sign King of Pentacles. So it's calling Divine Feminine to stand her ground with these men. You know, if you've traditionally had difficulty in conflict with men, especially at work, learning to just stand your ground and not let them take control. The Queen of Wands is possibly moving and or unstable as the King of Swords reverse lover, and him having anxiety due to still not being in his full truth, or being uncomfortable not knowing enough. Sitting in his own uncomfortable emotions in order to recover from separation and or heartbreak, in his knowing and awake, aligning with details at work. Okay? So he's going through some dark energies right along with the Divine Feminine, but he's holding his own. You need to keep up your connection in the 5D. Okay? Very supportive. And I'm going to pull you some oracle cards as well. And let's see what we got here. Okay, so from the Ascension deck, let's take a deep breath. You know you're good when you get that really deep breath that hits to the bottom of your lungs. You know, like sometimes you don't feel it all the way, go all the way in. When you feel it really go in deep into your lungs. Okay. So clearing the mind. Right. So what is the advice for the true twin community today? What is the advice? What is the advice? I actually have 2. Orion is at the bottom. It's number 18, which is the moon, which actually came up as a card as well. Okay, so Orion is 18. The affirmation for Orion is, I honor the masters of Orion and visit them in my sleep. Alright? So maybe you want to visit Sirius or Pleiades or Taurus, wherever you'd like to go. The cards that came out are first Archangel Retreats, which is number 50, which is the Ten of Cups, which is about complete emotional and family fulfillment. And the second card that came out was the Moon. Okay, so we got the Moon on the bottom of the deck because the Orion is 18, and then the Moon again here, which is 11, and 11 is Justice. So again, Justice was very much coming up in the reads today, as well as those Moon energies of kind of dark shadiness and secrets. So Archangel Retreats says, and 50 is about the 5, the change and expansion energy that we're going through. We're being reminded it's 5-0, 0 being source energy, to stay connected to source. One of the most effective ways to accelerate your ascension is to visit the Archangel Retreats during your sleep. It helps to know where the retreat is, but it's not essential. During the day, think and talk about the Archangel whom you wish to visit. Breathe in his energy to prepare you for your journey, and when you're ready, ask to be taken to its retreat. Your Archangel will enfold you and help you with whatever you most need. Your guidance is to receive for yourself and ask for the light to help you serve the world. And the affirmation is, I visit Archangel blank in my sleep. Okay, so you're being called to that twice, on the bottom of the deck and there. To, it's galactic work. Connect to your masters, your angels, your guides, your ETs, okay? And then we have the Moon, which is number 11. The Moon is the causal chakra of the universe and radiates divine feminine energies. Call on it to cleanse your aura and energize you. Remember, the influence of the celestial body is always there, whether you can see it or not. When you're offered this card, you're called on to practice your feminine qualities of love, wisdom, compassion, intuition, inclusiveness, discernment, and oneness. Your guidance is to go within and seek answers from your huge font of wisdom. The Moon will bring you clarity so that you can flow with the current of ascension. And the affirmation is, I listen to my divine feminine wisdom. So it's very much about aligning yourself with the feminine, but at 0 point. Okay, so if you're upset and purging, you're too much to the feminine, and you need to pull back and using something about your masculine. But this is finding your 0 point so that you can express your highest feminine wisdom and your highest masculine as well. But we're leaning toward the feminine today. Okay, just be careful of all that swordy energy that's been coming up. As soon as you find yourself getting in your head, get right out of your head. Redirect your thoughts. Just look at something on the wall. Redirect yourself. Say it out loud. And when you're in your head, speak out loud to yourself, because often that really helps in snapping you out of it. Sometimes if you just think positive thoughts to yourself, it's not enough. You need to verbalize it. Say it out loud, because it brings you more into your present moment. All right, so for the past life deck, what is the... Take a deep breath. What is the advice for the organic true twins? What is the advice? Okay. So the bottom of the deck is angels. So again, you're being guided to call on your angels. They can't help you unless you ask for their help. That's why you're being guided to meditate with them and ask for them at sleep time. And also just call on your angels, okay? And the unicorn was under her, in case you're interested. So you got your angels, and then you have food and hunger. What are you hungry for? This is not just about food. It's about what you're hungry for. The picture is of a metal cup and a loaf of bread. And I'm picking up on the, that download we got about putting a little bit of blood in your wine. So of course that's relating to, drinking the blood of Jesus, that kind of thing. I'm getting, the cup that you drink from is tainted. I'm being reminded of the message that that Jesus didn't want people to be ruled by other men, The point was to sit down with others, enjoy, and break bread, and drink wine, and be merry. This was the message. That if you're hungry, it's not in spirits connecting. It's not about the food and the wine or the drink, whatever it is. It's about the joy and the connecting. Okay, right? So when you connect, if you're rushing around and you never sit down to dinner with your family or your kids, you're not connecting. You know, which I was just as guilty as anyone else of doing that. That to use your time of meals to share with others, to break bread with others. And even if you can't do meal time, you know, find times where you're connecting. And if you're overeating, it's because of a lack of something. So you need to really feel into that, and why is it that I feel the need to eat this? Do it with specific foods, you know, whatever your cravings are. Why is it that I feel the need to eat this instead of just dealing with my issue? What is the issue that needs to come up? And if you can't get together at dinner, you know, I used to make specific time, you know, my drive time, because I was in the car forever running errands and taking the kids to their activities. Make that really quality time with your kids to really open up and have conversations, that kind of thing, which I'm sure most of you do, but just a reminder, okay? And if you're not eating or eating properly, make sure you do. There's something that needs to be changed in respect to what you're feeding yourself, whether that be food or anything else. Okay? All right, so then we get to Journey of Love to wrap things up. Okay, so Journey of Love. Let's take another deep breath. To clear and align, clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. Okay. Very good. What is the guidance for all of the organic true twins? Oh, it came right out. The bottom of the deck is the ancient ones, which is all of you. Okay. The ancient ones. It's number 52, which is the Queen of Swords. Today was all about the Queen of Swords, all the swords energy, and it was the center of the read, or actually the challenge in the read. About ending the pain in the thoughts that you do to yourself. So again, 52 is a 7. It's very spiritual. It's the Queen of Wands. It's of spirituality. It's the 2 of the feminine energy on the inside with the 5 expansion energy on the outside. It's not easy, right? But it is still the truth. The card that came out is Contemplation, which is number 69. Okay. Very much of the Queen of Wands, or Queen of Swords energy, rather. Could be both, of contemplation. And it's also number 69, which is the Ace of Pentacles. It's about that new life of perfect contentment and balance and harmony. But she has all of the colors lie in her hair. She has the magentas and oranges and greens and whites are in her hair that match her clothing. Okay, so let's see what it says. All right, 69 is Contemplation. Within you there's a question arising. When you get the question right, the answer will be self-evident. But you have to plunge your consciousness deep within to find the right question, to articulate it clearly and understand what it is that you're really asking. That question within you is actually a divine gift of awakening. It is your future awakened self waiting to be found and calling to you too. Right? We always have more awakening to do. Let the question arise through dreams, dance, meditation, sleep, yoga, time in nature, swimming in the ocean, bathing in an aromatherapy bath, or receiving a hot stone massage. The question holds within it the next unfolding petal of the lotus of your being. This oracle brings you an invitation to enter into the mystery of your life, and your being, and allow the biggest question you can summon to emerge from your heart and be expressed through love. Your question may emerge as clear and shining or soft and yielding. A question with no words, only feeling. Whatever truth emerges, let that be your contemplation. In response to that question, the next step forward will unfold before you, revealed in perfect clarity and perfect timing. This oracle brings you a message from your own divine nature. Come sit with me and breathe. I want to ask you something. I want you to ask me something. Together there's a conversation that we are to have now, and there will be beautiful accord between us that overflows into all of your relationships, bringing more understanding and peace. Which, how perfect. We were just talking about sitting down to a meal together. The poem reads, patterns break through the night, in beams of light awakening, memories of walking on sand, moments waves replace, waiting for another passerby. Reflections, time to look outward in, to find those hidden spaces, residing alone, waiting for a twin soul, waiting for myself. Okay, so I think that wraps everything up. It's just really overall, staying connected to your higher self is so important right now. Be in your joy, never go into fear. Love or fear? It's always love or fear. Which one do you want? They're mutually exclusive. If you're in fear, you're not in love, and that's not where you want to be. So just be reminded of that. Even when there's dark energies, we all are dark and light. Don't fear the dark. Just stay in your light, okay? Be good to yourself. And even when you fall, that's okay too. Just allow it and then come back to your joy, okay? Have an amazing day, guys. Hang in there. Don't give up, okay? My big message, don't give up. It's darkest before the dawn. Love you guys. Rise and be loved. Bye.